two young lovers embark on a kayaking trip off the coast of California, which turns out to have tragic consequences. When one of the bodies is discovered 5 miles out to sea, investigators try to piece together what may have transpired, despite the fact that there are no eyewitnesses and very little evidence to go on. In this video, we will talk about the story of a shark attack on a boyfriend and girlfriend. When Roy Stoddard and Tamara McAllister first crossed paths, they were both 24 years old and working as teachers at the same school in the city of West Malibu in the state of California. They were drawn to one another due to the fact that they shared a passion for adventure and exploration. Tamara was getting ready to do public health work in Kenya as part of her master's degree, and Roy tried his hand at everything from mountain climbing to scuba diving and kayaking as part of his adventures to fulfill his bachelor's degree requirements. Both of them made the most of their spare time by going on adventures together, such as canoeing, hiking, and camping. On the 26th of January 1989, they decided to go for a trip to the coast of California. On the day that would decide their fate, they each launched their individual kayaks into the water. At 9 in the morning, they made their way down to the water and began their day with a steaming mug of coffee and a freshly baked muffin while sitting on the beach. At 9:30, a passing pedestrian witnessed them launching their kayaks, after which they paddled to the north of Latigo Point and then on to Paradise Cove. It was just like any other day of training for the couple, and they looked forward to spending time together with happiness and excitement. Case investigator Ralph Collier's findings and the report he subsequently compiled served as the foundation for this tale. The following is an example of one of many potential events that could have taken place involving the couple and is supported by circumstantial evidence. The couple put on their windbreakers and zipped them up over their swimsuits once they have finished their coffee and put them on. When the wind picked up on the open water, they put on these blue and black jackets that were styled like wetsuits to keep themselves warm. They were aware that it was in their best interest to avoid paddling through the kelp forests because sharks typically avoid those areas. As they continued their journey around Latigo Point, a strong wind began to blow, causing the surface of the water to churn and spray salt in their eyes and faces. They bowed their heads, dug their heels in, and carried on regardless. The training route took them anywhere from 45 to 60 minutes on average, depending on how much time they spent swimming at the halfway point. They reported that it took them 2 hours today. They made the decision to proceed. Tamara was able to more easily follow Roy in the rear kayak as he made progress in front of her. Occasionally, he could feel the rope pulling Tamara back onto the path she was supposed to be on. They didn't get very far before they could see Paradise Cove, which was supposed to be their halfway point destination, but they never made it there. The boats were stuck from below by whatever it was that caused the sudden and unexpectedly loud crash that came from the depths of the water. Both of them were hurled out of their kayaks and crashed into the water at the same time. Tamara emerged from her unconscious state, hacking and sputtering, unsure of what had just taken place. After a few moments, she felt a strong pull on the left thigh of her left leg, and she was pulled underwater while she kicked and thrashed around. She exerted her strength to pull herself to the surface of the water, but a shark had a firm hold on her leg. As the shark twisted and turned beneath the surface of the water, she could feel the air in her lungs becoming increasingly compressed. Her boyfriend blinked his eyes rapidly, trying to get a better understanding of what was taking place. After a few seconds had passed, he was able to make out his girlfriend's terrified screams as she emerged from the water. After turning around, he saw a sea of blood and their capsized kayaks bobbing around in the water. He made his way over to the commotion in the water as quickly as he could and grabbed Tamara by the hand, raising her above the water's surface. As he pulled her to the boats, she gasped for air, but found that they were wet and slippery. When he attempted to get a hold of it, his hand kept falling off. He tried to turn it back over by lifting one side, but the weight was so great that he was unable to do so while simultaneously holding onto Tamara with the other arm. He persisted in his efforts over and over. When Margaret Bloom looked out the window of her living room at 10:15 that morning, she saw the commotion that was occurring in the water. She noticed the water was churning and agitating quite a bit as it was boiling. She was out by the kelp beds, close to a large buoy that was maintained by the United States Coast Guard, when she saw a number of seals leap out of the water and land on the buoy in order to escape the rough sea. They were shaken up and terrified. It was unclear whether the noise that was heard was caused by a shark attacking one of the seals or whether Tamara and Roy were the ones who were being attacked. Should the former have been the case and the shark have been unsuccessful in catching a seal, it is possible that the same shark turned its attention to the kayaks a few minutes later as Roy held Tamara's hand to keep her afloat while trying to keep her from drowning. He could sense her pulling away from him. She was bleeding out to death because the shark had severed her femoral artery. However, the shark was not finished. It returned, and in a fit of frantic aggression, it grabbed Roy and dragged him underwater, never to be seen or heard from again. They knew that Tamara and Roy had taken the kayaks out and were on their regular paddle, so their friends and coworkers became concerned when the couple didn't show up to work the following day. The kayaks were located one day after the attack, on the day that followed. They were adrift and flipped over fewer than 20 miles from the location where the couple had paddled on the opposite side of Santa Monica Bay. The holes in the kayaks had stress fractures around them, and one of the kayaks even had a hole in the bow. An engineer analyzed the evidence and came to the conclusion that the object that struck the kayaks must have weighed more than 2,000 pounds and was moving at a speed of at least 17 knots. The crew of a sailing boat discovered Tamara's body the following day, adrift in the water about 30 miles north of Paradise Cove, close to the Channel Islands harbor. Since she was still wearing her jacket when she was attacked, it is safe to assume that she was not swimming at the time. Her upper thighs had been severely bitten, which left her with a number of injuries. The length of the other one was greater than 34 centimeters, and it severed her femoral artery while it was in the vein. Because of the severity of her injuries and the size of the bite marks, it is possible that she was thrown from her kayak when she was attacked by the animal. She also had bruises on her hand and head. It was determined that the great white shark in question was at least 5 feet long and was responsible for the death. Following the discovery of Tamara's dead body, the United States Coast Guard launched a search and rescue operation to locate Roy using both boats and helicopters. After a week of searching for him, there was still no trace of him to be found. Even though the assault took place relatively close to land, no one witnessed it. The younger couple was physically active and open to new experiences. Both of them were incredibly skilled in the water. Because they were just living their lives and doing what they loved to do, their lives were tragically cut short. The beach and the ocean are two of the most enjoyable places to be found in nature. It is imperative that we keep in mind that this is the home of the shark, not ours, and that even if you are knowledgeable and well prepared, it only takes one encounter with one of these lethal animals for your life to be ended. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to share and press the bell icon for more regular updates.